Welcome to the Self-Growth Nerds podcast. I'm your host, Marie, a courage coach, creative soul, and adventure seeker. Since through hiking the Pacific Crest Trail in 2019, I'm on a mission to help you embrace your most confident self so you can achieve your dreams too. If you're eager for deep conversations, big questions, and meaningful connections, join me on the quest to discovering how we can create a more magical and memorable life. Hello, nerds! How are you? I'm really good. I have something exciting to invite you in. So it's August 22nd today. If you're listening to this on the day that it comes out, it's the end of the summer. It's starting to get more chilly outside. You can smell fall in the air where I am in Quebec, Canada. And end of summer always brings me back to get new school supplies and get ready for a fresh start. Now, I ask myself, why not keep this tradition alive, even though I am a grown-up now and there's nothing necessarily new that happens in the fall. There's no school year starting. But I always love that feeling of like the possibilities are bubbling. And I don't know about you, but I always have a boost of ambition when September comes around. So might as well take advantage of that. I decided to create a journaling journey. That's going to last 5 days. It starts today, okay? It starts today. It's called Realign Before Fall. And what we're going to do is for 5 days, you're going to receive a video and a journaling prompt that's going to help you gain clarity about what you want more of in your life. It's going to help you understand what works, what doesn't work, and what's missing right now for you, and make a plan of action for the upcoming fall and the end of the year. So it's an opportunity to take a pause and spend 5 days taking time with yourself to realign, to make sure you're going in a direction that serves the life that you want to create. It's free, and all you have to do is to go to selfgrowthnerds.com/realign before fall, and you'll be able to sign up. Now, very important, realign before fall, you write the before with the number 4. So realign, number 4, fall. And you'll be able to sign up for free, or you can just find me on Instagram at selfgrowthnerds and DM me. I'll send you a link. I'll send you an invite, super simple. Okay, shall we get into today's episode? Let's do this. Today, I want to touch on an eternal debate, which is, should you go all in on your dream or be a responsible adult and stick with your job? I've always been a dreamer. And so since I was like a little girl, and so my inclination has always been to say, follow your passion no matter what. But over time, I have realized that it's not always this simple. One, I've realized that I have a lot of privilege, right? I was born with a safety net and will probably die with a safety net. And it took me forever to see the ways in which just this fact made it so much easier for me to jump into something new. Because the consequences were never going to be that bad. Because I have the financial means to fix things. Because I have a family also that loves me no matter what. And if everything goes to shit, parents that are just going to say, come and stay with us and we're going to give you some money. Okay? It's as simple as that. And yeah, so I call myself a courage coach, but many people have had to be so much more courageous than I ever will be because of my privilege. So that's number one. Also, number two, I was young. I was in my 20s. No one depended on me. I still have no one depending on me, but I'm almost 33. I actually, by the time this episode comes out, I'll be 33. Happy birthday to me. And even if I don't have children, I see how when you get older, you have built more things and there are more consequences to making big changes. So yes, follow your passion, but if following your passion like wreaks havoc behind you and to the people around you, well, it's not something that you do without thinking. It's something that you prepare, that you transition into. It's not like the romantic jump into the void that I thought about in my 20s. Okay. So, and that's just a few examples of things that helped me realize that the advice to follow your passion is like a very narrow-minded one. I think the intention behind it is important, and I still believe that we should create a life that we're deeply proud of. I still believe that, but there's more nuance to it. Okay? So my question becomes then, how can we pursue our calling while still being able to pay our bills? Okay? And the answer came not from me. I have a lot of brilliant ideas, but there's also a person called Andy J. Pizza that I love, that is an illustrator and a podcaster. He has the podcast Creative Pep Talk. And in one of his episodes, he talks about this. He says the answer to this question is don't be so literal. And I'm going to give you lots of examples so that you understand better. So trigger warning, I'm going to talk about poop now. I used to, in a period of my life, have this dream at night where I would like go in lots of different toilet stalls, and all of the toilets would be full of poop, overflowing with poop, and I would get like an increasing feeling of panic because I couldn't use any of them. And so the meaning of these dreams was not literal. I was not having those dreams because I couldn't find a toilet to poop in. The meaning was symbolic. Okay. I had those dreams because, and that's an interpretation, right? It's not a fact. But my personal interpretation is because I was in a situation where I felt stuck and like I couldn't go anywhere. And the same goes for your actual life dreams. For example, if you dream of opening a coffee shop, don't be so literal. Look at what's hiding underneath. Look at the symbolism. What does this symbolize? What's the essence of this dream for you? Is it, do you want to open a coffee shop because you long to be in a community, or you long to feel close to people? What is underneath the surface? The coffee shop is just like an excuse. It's just a way to fulfill a need or a desire that's not as literal, okay? I used to dream when I was a kid of being an actress. Now, what was the essence of that? It's not about being an actress. It's deeper than that. Was it about using my voice like I'm doing now? Was it about being recognized? Was it about being loved by the public? I don't know. I'm just giving you examples to show you that the first step is not to be too literal about your dream. So questions to ask yourself there is, what's hiding underneath the surface desire? What does this tell me about what matters to me? And what about this lights me up? What about the idea of opening a coffee shop lights me up? What about the idea of being an actress lights me up? Okay? That's one of the first things I do with my clients when they go through the Brave and Bold process. Because I believe this keeps them from jumping from one career to the other. You don't commit to a specific job, but you commit to a calling that ignites your soul. You create a life that's made of the values that matter most to you, but that's not the way that most people look at things. Most people jump from one job to the other, and that's if we're talking about work, right? Most people jump from one job to the other, hoping for the job to bring them joy. Job joy. Hoping for the job to bring them joy. That's a tongue twister. But I think that's a recipe for disaster, and it's hopping on the surface where we want to go underneath and really get to know yourself in a deeper way, and figure out what meaning you want to make out of your life. Then, once you figure out all of this, the next step is to craft a vision for your life that's going to integrate those values of yours as well as maintain the lifestyle that you wish to have. And that means making the money that you want to make, working the number of hours that you want to work per week, being able to, save the amount of money that you want to save to buy the house in the countryside that you want to buy. Okay? So yes, we got a dream, but we also have to weave in the practical side into a vision that's exciting, but also figure-outable, to use one of Marie Forleo's words. She has a book called Everything is Figure-Outable. I haven't read it, but that's the word that came to mind. So it's a balance of both. It's a balance of both. You have to figure out what turns you on, and that might sound a bit woo-woo. Part of me is woo-woo. You have to figure out what you were put on this earth to do, what your purpose is. I believe in purpose, for sure. And purpose doesn't have to be related to work. It can, but it doesn't have to. Purpose can show up in all the little things that you do every day, how you show up. But I'm getting sidetracked here. So yes, I believe in purpose, but I also believe that we're souls in a meat sack on planet Earth. We also have bodies. We function in a society, and we have to take this into account. Otherwise, we're going to be miserable. So I asked you questions to connect to the dream part of you. Now, in order to connect to the practical side, you can start by asking the question that NDJ Pizza suggests in his podcast episode, and that I have also asked my clients in the past. If you have done the Motivation Mimosa workshop with me, you know that the question is, what is the cost? And are you willing to pay the cost? This question keeps you from coming up with perfectionistic fantasies. Okay, this question is essential if you don't want to be I keep bringing up this example of a man I met before he went on his hike of the Pacific Crest Trail. I asked him what do you think you're going to struggle with? what's going to be most challenging for you on this through hike? And he said to me, oh, I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be fine. I'm super strong. Mentally, he said to me, my therapist said I'm the strongest person that they've ever met. The strongest, mentally person that they've ever met. So I'm going to be fine. But they had not trained physically. They had not considered what could go wrong. They had not considered what was going to be shitty. And so after 10 days on the trail, they were like, what? What is this? Like, I didn't expect that it was going to be this way. Well, no shit. Hello. You haven't considered the real cost, and you haven't really asked yourself if you were willing to pay it. You only looked at the good stuff. Okay? And same thing with when I had a coffee truck. People told me like, oh my God, this looks amazing. I wish I had a coffee truck too, right? We had this little blue truck and we went to festivals and markets, and it looked like we were in a movie like this. There's a movie where it's a guy with a food truck. What's the title? I don't remember, but after seeing this movie, people were telling me like, wow, your life is so epic. But what they didn't know is that the cost of this life was waking up really fucking early, having to go buy a bunch of milk, having to throw the water hose outside our flat in London, throw it down to fill the water tank every day. There was a bunch of things that was not included in the movie. Boring stuff. There was also what was not included in the movie was the amount of money we made for a long time for the work. I mean, let me express myself better. We worked so hard for so little money. We only started making good money just before I left. Okay? So that's what people don't see. Same thing when I was an illustrator. People told me, oh my God, you're getting paid to draw. What a dream. But that's a dangerous error in thinking. Because yes, I'm getting paid to draw. But I'm also dealing with difficult clients sometimes who tell me I don't like it, what you've drawn. Do it again. I'm also having to do my taxes. I'm also having to do all the admin stuff, all the self-promotion. Are you willing to pay that cost? Or do you just want the 50% that looks amazing? Do you just want to be paid to draw? Do you just want to have to go to music festivals with your coffee truck? That's not possible. That's not life. And hiking the PCT is not what you see on Instagram. Okay. So another example of this is I was sitting with a friend of ours, and he was telling Oli and I how, so this friend has quite a big business with staff. He employs people in his business, and he says, sometimes I daydream about opening up a different business that would, be smaller, be more aligned with the values that I have now, But he tells us, but I'm not willing to pay the cost. My business is working well. It's offering jobs to people. It's bringing in good money for me. And I know that, yes, there would be some joy in starting something new. But at the end of the day, is it really worth it for me? I'm eventually, with this new thing, going to get to the same place, right? And I'm not going to jump from one business to the other just to create those feeling, the joy that novelty brings to me. This is a level-headed way of thinking. Sounds boring, right? But it's much closer to the truth. I'm not willing to pay the cost of learning to surf. I love the idea. Like, I daydream of being a surfer, but I'm not willing to pay the cost because I know that learning to surf comes with a lot of pain and discomfort and falling off your board and being like in the water a lot, getting sand in your face, all of that. I'm not willing to pay that cost. I'm not willing to be a theater actress. That's the first career I was interested in. It was theater, but I'm not willing to get the salary that comes with this job. Yes, some people make it big. Some do. That's great, but I'm not willing to go through, I was not willing to go through all the years of being paid a tiny salary in order to do this. So it's not to say that that's bad, not to say that like starting a new business or learning to surf or being a theater actor or actress is bad. It's just, are you willing to pay the cost? You have to be honest with yourself about that. Because too often I see people, quote, following the dream in a romantic way without having their feet on the ground. And I have done that too. I also see the opposite. People who, and we have to be careful about that as well, people who are too grounded and not willing to taste the deliciousness of life. And both of these paths lead to misery, in my opinion. So we want to find the middle ground. The goal is to create a life where your soul is nourished and also where you can take care of yourself well. So this can be a slow process that requires patience and creativity, right? For me, building my business, changing my career to transition from graphic design and illustration towards coaching, where I would have a lot more freedom. I would more of my values were going to be engaged because I would be with people. I would be able to read about personal growth and connect with my passion. I really wanted to do this, but I didn't want to just from one day to the next jump into this new career. I wanted to build up to it. So I had illustration contracts and graphic design contracts until my new business brought in enough money to sustain my lifestyle. Okay. And that also went along with creating passive income. I used my illustration skills to and partnered with a friend to create a product that we sell online and in physical stores that brings me passive income that made this transition possible or easier for me. So it's all about not going in blindly. Not going in blindly, being honest about all the aspects. Being honest about about what your soul longs for, about what your heart desires, and also being honest about the kind of lifestyle that you want to lead. And that's going to be different for everyone. But both sides, the dream side and the practical side, are just as important to look at. Don't ignore the dream side because you're going to like drain yourself and you're going to be like an empty sack that has no meaning to their life and that feels miserable. But also don't ignore the practical side because you're just going to live this dream but not be able to feed yourself, not be able to house yourself. And I mean, it matters. It's boring, but it matters. It's boring for people like me who are just like, sometimes I often tell you this, I feel like I'm a mind and a soul, and I don't need my body. I could be like in the movie Soul, there's 22, the character 22 is just like a light that's moving through life. Doesn't have like a body to take care of. That would suit me. I'm just joking, right? I don't want to send anything in the universe. I love my body. I love my body, but it is sometimes challenging to take care of. So if you're like me, you're like, oh, I don't need to eat. I'd rather be creative, but that's not the reality. So gotta, maturity is about connecting to reality. And this, everything that I've talked about today is what we do in Brave and Bold, part of what we do in my coaching program. We look at what really lights you up and how you can create a vision, a realistic vision. I don't like that word, for your life, where the dream and the practical sides are merged together. Okay. And I take you on this journey. No, you take yourself on this journey, and I'm here as a guide to support you, to be like, yes, this takes patience, but this is figure outable, and let's do it. It's fucking worth it. It's fucking worth it. I can tell you from where I am now, where all of my values are present in the work that I do, in not just the work, in my daily life, all of my values are in alignment. And I cannot express, like, there's nothing sweeter than a life of alignment. And also, I make the money that I want to make that allows me to have the lifestyle that I want to have. Okay? So this is what we do in Brave and Bold. The program is going to open its doors again this fall. I'm doing 2 information sessions so that I make sure there's at least one of them that you can attend. One of them is going to be on August 31st and the other one on September 1st. So just apply, because I don't want anyone to come to these information sessions. I want to make sure we're a good fit. I want to make sure I can help you. If I cannot help you, I'm going to refer you to someone else. But if I can, I'm going to send you everything that you need to know about these information sessions so that we can meet, see if we're a good match, see if my program is interesting for you, if my approach lights you up, and go from there. So just go to selfgrowthnerds.com/brave and bold, and you'll be able to apply. And in the meantime, if you want a little taster, if you want to spend some time with me this week, go to selfgrowthnerds.com/realign before fall to sign up for the journaling journey. So again, it's before with the number 4, and you're going to get a video. There's already one up on the platform right now. You're going to get one every day. It's like a mini workshop with a reflection prompt so that you do some introspection this week and find your focus before the fall. Okay. I think that's it for this week. Follow your dream, but also get real. The answer is in the gray area between both. It's not black, it's not white, it's gray. The more I grow up, the more I realize the answer is always in the gray. Okay, I love you all. Have a beautiful week. Bye-bye. You just listened to the Self-Growth Nerds podcast. Make sure to subscribe and to find me on Instagram at Self-Growth Nerds. If you want individual help developing the confidence to create a more meaningful and exciting life, visit selfgrowthnerds.com today to learn how. Finally, I want to thank my friend Etienne Galano for editing this, and I want to thank you, kind-hearted souls, for growing into your truest, most courageous selves every day and making this world a better, more beautiful place. My name is Marie, and I will talk to you next week.